Welcome to the show. This is Triforce. I am Courage.
And I'm Wisdom.
And today we are going to talk about some of our reactions, opinions, good and bad, that kind of stuff about the E3 conference that's just happened here recently. And yeah, some of the stuff we're excited about, disappointed, and that kind of junk.
Yeah. I want to finish this on a high note, so I'm going to start off with disappointments.
Okay.
And, um,
I know what you're going to
you
say.
mentioned it earlier, and the whole thing, Microsoft, I don't know. A lot of people were focusing on that, on the dance thing, whatever that was, during their presentation, their hour-and-a-half presentation that you can watch up on YouTube. And it was just weird. Like, there wasn't really any substance to the whole Microsoft presentation except for, Halo 4 and maybe, I don't know, what was I thinking? The South Park.
Jews can't be saved, remember?
No, there was no substance.
It leaves me wondering, can I just blame LucasArts for this? Come on.
Why would you blame
you and I
LucasArts?
You and I had this conversation earlier. They've taken one of my greatest childhood heroes and they put him on a Dance Central video game in Star Wars Connect. How much more wrong can you get? So, Dance. Yeah, why? Where did it come from? It came from left field. No, who really cares about Dance Central? And then they let's promo our Connect with Dance Central. Yeah, nice.
They're pushing the Connect too much, and I also think the Wii is pushing everybody's pushing all this motion stuff way too much. When gamers were okay with controllers and buttons, Nintendo caved and made an Xbox controller, a bastardized Xbox controller, but still.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. It looks like a chunkier version of it. It's like, come on, hey, Nintendo. Lay off the cupcakes for your controllers. They look a little too fat there.
Xbox already went through that with the first Xbox controller. You remember how massive that thing was?
Yeah, I mean, it had a huge circle that was the size of what, like 3 half dollars. I mean, it's just huge. It was like 3 inches diameter in the middle, so you could fit a 3-inch diameter circle in the middle of your Xbox controller.
Yeah,
so
it was massive.
Yeah, and on the subject, now that you brought up the whole Wii thing, the Wii U. In essence, it looks kind of cool because you've got the Wii Pro pad, and it's got the bumpers on the top and the triggers on the bottom. So really what it is an Xbox 360 controller wrapped around a Kindle Fire. A Kindle Fire. Now, the idea that I thought was cool was they demoed the whole... this is not even to do with the E3, but the Wii U stuff prior to E3 was... Look, we're going to release Ocarina of Time 3D on the Wii U, and instead of having all those icons of your weapons and your inventory up on the right-hand side on the screen, it's going to be on your tablet, and then all you see is the screen. I like that because
that's cool.
It's that part is cool, but I don't know.
Somebody gave me the idea. Really, there's a lot of potential with group gaming. And that's a lot of what Nintendo's been working on for years, group gaming, party games. But they said, imagine Dungeons & Dragons. You have the Game Master using the big, massive controller, and then you have the other people in the party using the regular Wii controllers. And so since there's a screen right there for the Game Master, they can cycle through what monsters or bad guys they want to throw at the party. And so things like that, I think... This has real potential, but they're not focusing on that. They're still focusing on the Wii Fit type stuff, like this weird
gimmicky
this
stuff.
This is a waiter game. You don't drop the platter. And I don't want to play waiter games.
Gimmicky
if I want to play a waiter game, I'd get a job at a restaurant and be a waiter.
And just something brief, a brief comment for later on for another show. It looks like they're focusing on gimmicky stuff to relate to the youth instead of gamers who are actually the market, who are our age in our 30s.
You brought up an interesting point with the market. E3 has evolved. It started out marketing kind of games to gamers. It's not marketing to gamers anymore. It's the big companies, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony. They're marketing using E3 to market to investors. And really, the slice, the overlap between investors and
Corporate America.
gamers that are investors and investors that are gamers isn't really that big. So they're just trying to hit the large portion of investors with this. They're looking at them like, hey, look at all this cool stuff we got. We're bringing in families. We're bringing in all these other gamers. And when the people who are actually excited about E3, who are real gamers, who really want to look at E3 and want to see all the content that comes out, they're super disappointed. We're super disappointed.
Yeah.
Because E3 has evolved into something that's not for gamers anymore.
How dumb do they think we are that we're just gonna roll over and buy everything and accept that? Yeah,
because how often, every single year, what comes out? A Call of Duty or Modern Warfare game. What happens every single time one of those games comes out?
All the teenagers get excited and they buy them and they play them and they brag about their stats, and then some hacker gets mad and he crashes the whole system. Did that happen this last year and a half ago? Oh, probably. Yeah, it did. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just, come on, man. I'm just so glad that within the whole 343 Studios dealing with Halo 4 coming out, bringing that up now just briefly, that the guy who's the director over it, he was with Bungie, and he loves Halo, and the people who are with it love Halo. So, they don't really need to go, oh, hey, look at this new gimmick. They might do that as a side note, but the majority of the game, it's like, this is for you, gamers. Gimmicks. We love you, and this is our best starting out of the box with a new trilogy on this game. So,
and they know who their market is and who they're targeting. Yeah. They're targeting Halo fans. They don't.
Yeah, they're not targeting investors. Yeah, no. Halo does satisfy. And as far as the money, I am glad that they're investing money, but come on, man. Instead of being a guy who sits behind a desk and just looks at videos of things, you need to actually pick up a controller. You need to be in a community where people understand, where the game came from, how it is. Just somebody who gets it, not just somebody who's corporate who gets briefed on it by their assistant. Let's, come on, get some more guys in there. Yeah, get some more guys in there who understand what's going on. That's all I'm saying on that. I
agree, because if you understand what you're investing in, you're gonna do a better job at it.
Yeah, and another disappointment you mentioned earlier was Gears of War.
Oh gosh, why?
Is it Land Before Time 32, 56? Who knows? I mean, that's how it's gonna be. I mean, that could be said for Halo. But here's the thing: it's got stories and science fiction behind it. It's not just we want to come up with some Disney movie that, excuse me, sorry, it's no bashing against Disney. I can't do that, right? But it's not just something that went straight, it's coming straight to DVD. It's a DVD marketing audience. There's no theater production. Why? Because it sucks. But they know that you're going to buy it because it's $5, and so every kid in the world's going to have one, and that's how they make their money.
Some of those straight-to-DVD movies can be pretty decent.
Yeah,
but it's few and far between. I really don't see a reason to have another Gears of War.
Isn't the Horde dead? Haven't you killed them enough? I mean, come on.
Maybe it'll be good, but right now it's just like, really?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Who knows? If they do anything to this game, I seriously hope that they jot it in and out of like a first, second, and third. I've always wanted a shooter that would do that, and the third-person shooter's cover system on Gears of War is excellent. And
it is.
Comparing that to like Ubisoft's game, or Ubisoft, however they pronounce it, I don't know. There's all sorts of ways. Comparing it to like Rainbow Six Las Vegas 2, you had certain perspectives that it would jot in and out of. You had a first-person perspective, then when you went to your cover, you could see your guy and he looked cool. You could shoot over corners. That one kind of, I thought, it's still one of my favorites because it does that. And I would love to see... It used both, and I would love to see shooters do that. And I wish they would do a little bit, like, ease us into warm water, 343 Studios, and do that with Halo. I wish they would do that just a little bit. Not so much. I know, Halo, but it's just my wish. It's a first-person shooter. Just saying.
But Halo is Halo.
Yeah,
and if you mess up the formula too much, it's not going to be Halo anymore.
Well, do it with Marathon. Make a Marathon from Bungie. and do that, but make it very similar to Halo, and then you can start something new. There you
That's a
go.
good
That's
idea.
a good idea.
That's a good idea. So, out of all the things I've been disappointed about, one of the games I was kind of disappointed in, the gameplay preview was Last of Us, which is the survival zombie
Oh
thing
man. Oh
for
man.
PlayStation. Looks beautiful, but what did
Yes, it does.
and the combat looks really interesting. But what got me about Last of Us was it looks really really scripted. Like when before you get into the fights, you're watching the player go through, and the path is so obvious. They might as well have big glowing pointers saying, "Go here, go here. Don't try to go anywhere else. This is where we want you to go. This takes you to the action." And
Yeah.
I don't.
It's not open world enough for you.
I don't.
That's
mean,
what
I
you're
like
saying.
open world. I don't always need open world, but they're trying to trick me into thinking it's not. And just give. That's fine. Give me a path. That's okay.
That's a good point.
But it
I
feels
didn't
too scripted.
Yeah. I didn't see that when I saw the gameplay. I didn't realize that. I really like the way the movement of the character is. I
Mm-hmm.
like the teamwork by your other main
Oh,
character, your daughter. It was funny.
I don't think
The
it's his
gameplay
daughter.
looks. I think it's his daughter.
Whatever. The girl.
That's what I thought. Anyway, whatever. The little girl. So it looks really cool. The thing is, it did have some good pulse pounding in it in the beginning, and
Yes.
it did draw me in, and I actually like, even from a viewing, like a spectator point of view, watching that, I was drawn in, and I actually got kind of scared when I heard the guys in the room. There was like, what, 4 or 5 of them, and I
Yeah.
legitimately got scared and thought, oh dude, I need to survive, I need to sneak around, and he did. And
Well, that right there
but definitely
proves.
it's going to be something for a very mature audience. And by a very
Hmm.
mature, I mean people who, put your kids to bed. I'm a family man. Put your kids to bed, because, and I hate the F word. That's just me personally. It's nothing to do with anybody, no judgment. I can't stand that. And there was at least 5 or 6 in just that very short period of time.
Yeah.
So the gameplay looks fun. Will I play it to demo it? Probably. Not going to have it in front of my kids, nor
No
would
way.
I
No, you
recommend it
shouldn't.
to my nephews or nieces or anybody. Yeah, it's definitely something that's very adult. So
One thing that's interesting with that, just having you watch it, they did their job right
yeah, they did.
with getting you into it and drawing you in. So that's good. And one of the things that I approve of it is when the fighting happens, it does open up and gives you more options. It just felt. I enjoyed it. It drew me in. It's probably going to tell a good story, but right now it just feels too scripted to me, and I don't like when things feel scripted. And it's hard to avoid in games. Maybe I'm being too picky, but scripted things
Yeah.
just
Well,
kind of meh.
you did. I agree with you on that point. That it feels like they're trying to trick you away from what it really is. But for me personally, I didn't really even notice. I was more concerned with, like, I did notice that little icon, but I like how, what is it? It's the new, gosh, it's the new Rainbow Six game that's coming out, and they
Hmm.
showed how the icons kind of blend in with the colors. They're a little bit clear.
Yep.
I like how PlayStation, the games that I've seen on PlayStation demoed, like The Last of Us, it does that. For me, it just disappeared. For you, you noticed it. For me, it wasn't. It wasn't as noticeable. I was more concerned with the environment and the bad guys, and I was taking cues from my partner, the little girl,
Yeah.
and what the guy was saying. So I totally got so immersed, I didn't notice that it was shoving me one way. So for me, I thought it did a good way. I thought it had a good way of distracting me and pointing me to where I needed to go without making me feel like that's what it was doing. It was so obvious in World at War of Call of Duty, where you're in trenches and it shoves you in one particular way.
Yep.
You can't go up over a bunker. I mean, that was so blatantly obvious to me. It was so frustrating. I couldn't wait to get the game over, and the only consolation that I had was that Jack Bauer from 24 was the voice of one of the main characters. So,
Yeah.
uh, this game, it looks like it's going to be fun. I like the brain splatter of one of the guys in the demo on the table. I mean, that was kind of just like, wow, I've never seen that before. There was a lot of shock for me and awe, and I was just left going, wow, that's kind of, they've really got a good rated R action feel to it.
Hmm.
But again, it might get to a point in the game where it might be too much violence for me, especially if
Yeah.
something bad happens to the little girl. I think I'd lose it. That's just me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, you have three
It's
little girls. Well,
definitely,
one on the way, two little girls right now. Don't blame
yeah,
you.
it's well, my interest is peaked and I'm excited to see what it's going to be like, and I'm definitely going to demo it so that I can have an opinion about it for others. So,
Now counter that somewhat scripted feel with what the one I'm super excited about. I mean, I'm excited for Assassin's Creed 3. I mean, the naval gameplay demo looked awesome on
oh,
that.
do
I'm
you see
excited.
this? Do you see the smile on my
I
face?
do. I really
Okay.
liked Halo 4, and I'm a Halo fan. But what really blew me away, and I think stole the show for me, was Watch Dogs. And it's a
Watch
spy.
Dogs. Yeah.
Hey,
Ooh.
have you watched that?
Yeah.
This the spy
Well,
espionage
no,
stuff.
sorry, I forgot. No.
Anyway,
But I saw a little brief clip of it, but that not enough to.
you're the spy assassin guy, and you go and it gives you a lot of freedom while saying here are your objectives, and it gives you a lot of freedom to figure things out. And you get to little points, and it does little scripted cutscenes, but it was seamless within the game of where you get your weapon from some other guy, and then it goes back to gameplay, and it's just really seamless as storytelling, and then it lets you set up the gunfight and set up how you're going to take things down. You need to take down in the gameplay demo. You need to take down a certain
So a
bad
strategy
guy.
element.
Yeah,
So there's a strategy element to the game and not just
run
go
and
in
gun
guns blazing Halo.
and rely on the scripted what the developers gave you for a script. You have to lure the bad guy into where you are, and then you go out and you catch him on the way. You can hack cell phones. You can hack traffic lights,
cool.
and so the character hacks the traffic light, causes the bad guy to run a red light, gets
Sweet.
T-boned, causes this massive
Sweet.
accident.
So we're
in
talking.
this, yeah, this is big. This is like
We're
I wanna take
we're
this guy
talking
out
about
here.
like. We're talking about like Italian Job or a Bourne movie
Yeah,
where you
exactly.
use these that sounds really interesting actually. I'm gonna have to.
So
I
he
feel
creates this
ashamed.
gunfight.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
You have to watch it. It's awesome. Creates this gunfight in the middle of this intersection, rescues civilians while he's doing it, kills the guy, jumps into steals a sports car, and runs away from the police. So like,
Nice.
there are so many different
Yeah.
types of games. There's like GTA,
Dude,
and racing.
it's a
there's gunfighting.
it's a Bourne
there's
game.
strategy. Yeah, and it
It's a
looks
Bourne game.
awesome.
Except it's better than Bourne because I
Yeah.
played Bourne
Oh, yeah.
Conspiracy, and from what little you're describing, what little I know about the game sounds a little bit more interesting than the
It stole the
gimmicked
show
up
for me.
version of that's awesome. I am definitely, I'm just going to proclaim it now. I'm definitely a Assassin's Creed fanboy.
Mhm.
I mean, anybody who's willing to wait 2 weeks and pay $50 for this little beauty right here is definitely my belt buckle, which I wear every single day.
Yep.
Um, it's so amazing. You get to come on, colonial times. You can be in the Caribbean and you can captain a ship and blow stuff out of the water. So here it's reliving. It's like giving me so many completed fantasies for me, like that, and then the whole. I can hunt, and I have to fend off myself from wolves when I've killed and skinned an elk or a deer, and then. One of the moves I really loved and I'm so excited to play is the fact that like you're going to this base in the trailer for E3 when they've demoed it. You're going into the base to kill this guy, and you lasso this dude from a
Yes, I love
tree.
that.
You hang him by dropping down. You stake him into the ground with a knife. He's choking, and all of a sudden you just go to work with your tomahawk. You use a guy to absorb bullets from the other guys. I mean, this is just freaking awesome, dude. I've got the
looks-
game paid off already, and I'm gonna be the first guy that you're coming with me. I hope you know
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
But that's just that for me had me excited. Watch Dogs. If I had watched it, I probably would be just as
You're gonna
excited.
watch it. I'm
Oh,
gonna watch your reaction
I'm
too.
dude, I'm so stoked. Those things, see, and this is the thing. These studios we're talking about, 343 and Ubisoft, yes, they're appealing to corporate guys when they do this, but for the most part, they're like, look, all of this that we have is bad A, and it's all for you guys, gamers, and then everybody just follows. Like, you can't ignore the artwork. You can't ignore the story. The voiceover work, from what I've heard for Connor, is amazing.
Is
He
good.
does, like, if you've had any experience, and this is not to stereotype or judge, but I've been around Native Americans a lot in my life because we've got a lot of friends growing up as a kid who, were on the reservation. There there seems to be, at least with some natives that I know, a smoothness of their voice. And this guy, whoever does Connor, he's got it. I mean, I'm totally fooled in the fact that he's half native, half English.
Mm-hmm.
The native part to me just stands out in the looks and the smoothness of the voice. It's awesome. I'm
You
so
mentioned the art, and one thing
so awesome.
I was really impressed with the naval battle. I think that's so awesome. They nailed it
Yeah.
with the cannons on either side, having to
Yeah.
broadside, and then
Did you see the way that they had you aim at the other
yes,
ship?
yes,
It didn't bother the waves at all. It just was like a little grid on top of it. I
yep,
thought that was ingenious. I thought it
really
was
simple, gets the job
yeah.
done. Says this is where you're aiming, go to town, and
Yeah.
it looked
Have fun.
beautiful. The ships looked great. Everything that was going on your ship looked awesome. The Caribbean before it
Yeah.
starts, before it gets all dark, just looked beautiful. I was like, I
Dude,
want
I
to be
felt
there.
like
I want to be
I
there.
felt yeah, I felt like I was on the ocean. I literally did.
Mhm.
It brought back memories of Wind Waker, except a lot
Awesome.
cooler. You know what I mean? It's just better.
And a lot of people in the
I
comments in that YouTube video were saying that Rockstar, who did Red Dead Redemption, they need to do a
Yeah.
pirate game now, an open world pirate
Oh,
game.
dude, that'd be so awesome.
That
Yeah,
would be cool.
but I think if Rockstar does some fun things. John Marston, who knows who he is? He looks like Clint Eastwood kind of with his hat. Do you know what I mean? He's the spirit of the West. He's Rango.
Mhm.
Who knows? Who knows who he is? But I think they should do kind of I don't know. Maybe it's not for Rockstar, but if Ubisoft ever did a pirate open world game, I love the fact that in Assassins they weave real life history into fiction. And I love that. I love that perfect blend with the stunning background that they do and the visceral gameplay. I mean, it just if Rockstar could pull off something like that with
That'd
an
be
open world
amazing.
pirate game, dude, I would totally want to spend $100 on it without even batting an eye. It would be worth it for me.
One of the things that really got me about that naval battle gameplay is right at the end when they go to board the other ship, and I thought, yes, you can board other ships. That's awesome. He pulls
Yeah.
out his tomahawks, and it just completed the picture. He's this captain who does all this stuff, and he wins the naval battle. They jump onto the
Yeah.
ship, and he's jumping across the gap. In looks this awesome looking captain. And what does he pull out? A tomahawk.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and especially like that fight scene that I was telling you about in front of the fort.
Yep.
It was so awesome the way that he was fighting with the tomahawk and the knife. I mean, it brought me back to Patriot, and it brought me back to Last of the Mohicans. I mean, I really like. For me, I don't know. There's got to be a fanboy of those movies in there somewhere of the studios going,
absolutely.
"This is how he should move," because I thought Ezio was just the coolest character I've ever seen, and now seeing him fight Connor, I'm blown away, man. How can they top this? That's what I'm asking myself, and I don't
Yeah.
think they'll be able to. So that one definitely excited for. And then there's another one that both you and I saw at the last moment that kind of just really, speaking of Ubisoft, Splinter Cell.
Oh my god, I love.
Look at
I
you.
have
You look like you're going to
very-
cry. You're so happy about this game.
I have very good memories of Splinter Cell,
Oh my
particularly
God.
the first one, and
Yeah.
even more so than what was Metal Gear, and that stuff.
Metal Gear Solid and
Yep.
yeah, okay.
I really liked the stealth and how everything worked out with Splinter Cell. I haven't played some of the most recent games, but this one looks amazing. The parkour, the planning of how you want to take down a group of enemies. I like being able to be given a choice and say, or at least a really good illusion of a choice. I don't know.
Yeah.
They literally give you a choice
Well-
to say, there's this guy, and there's this guy. Let's execute this series of moves.
So they
And then
give
it
you
takes you through
options.
that. Yeah.
Options. Not necessarily choices, but options. There's only real one choice, and that's to win, but you know,
And they give you different ways to do that.
that's
Just
cool.
The amount of tools. that they
Creative
give you.
ways.
Yeah.
Creative ways to do it. See, this and you and I talked about this already, but it reminds me of a combination of Rainbow Six Las Vegas 2, which
Mhm.
again, love the game, and a blend with just a little, like they've taken, it looks to me like Ubisoft has taken from all their big hits and gone, we can add subtleties from different games and
Oh yeah.
go, this is how it plays. So it reminds me of Assassin's Creed, especially the way the guy is hanging off the wall,
Hmm.
and he climbs up. He breaches and clears a door. It reminds me of Rainbow Six Las Vegas 2. Other than that, it was cooler because the
He does it
door
by himself.
disintegrated and he did it by himself. He's a lone assassin. So it's just really cool, man.
That's good.
Again, one of my favorite studios. Why? Because they put out good stuff.
For
Good stuff
gamers.
for gamers. And like right now, I'm going through Brotherhood again because I just love the game. It's so long and it's like it takes 80 hours of my life. But you know what? I don't really have another game. I've got all these games in my collection, but that game I keep coming back to because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
So,
And
Ubisoft, good job.
we keep talking about like scripted and unscripted. There's just kind of been this theme and choices. One of the
Yeah.
games that doesn't really give you many choices, and it just kind of gives you a path to go. Halo has still been really popular with me, and I'm not quite sure why. It's just fun, and I was
Good
really
memories.
geeking out. Good, yeah, very good memories, but a good, really good story and fun gameplay.
Yeah.
And I've been geeking out over the Halo 4 gameplay where they show
Man.
the robots and stuff.
Cool.
What
Yeah.
correct? I'm a retard with the lore. Who are the
Okay, so this is the story. Apparently, I haven't read the books, but from all the rumors that I've heard, this is you see Master Chief, and 4 years ago, this gameplay. Sorry, takes. Let me start again. It takes place 4 years after your ship's been blown apart and you've been jutted into space. Who knows where you're going? Everybody thinks you're dead because they built the monument and scratched your name on it.
yeah.
So they have no idea. The Covenant, they've all disbanded pretty much because they got their butts kicked, and the elites, they're now allied with mankind. So now you find out, you at the end of Halo 3, you find out that he's headed towards this weird looking planet that looks like it's just all made up of technology. It
Is it
almost
like a
looks like
shield world?
it looks like, yeah, it looks like a Dyson star for
Yeah.
any of those geeks who know who the scientist Dyson was. If you don't know, it's in one of the last episodes of Star Trek Next Generation, just saying. So anyway, so now the story is that these guys are Forerunners, and you didn't know Forerunners existed, but these are the bad Forerunners.
There we go. Forerunners. Thank
So
you. He's
they're the
called
bad
Reclaimer.
Forerunners. Yeah, he's called
They call
Reclaimer.
him Reclaimer. That's why I was thinking R.
I
There we
don't
go,
know
Forerunners.
why. I don't know why they call him Reclaimer, other than that he can operate Master Chief. Speaking Master Chief,
Yes.
he can operate Forerunner technology, and he seems to have this kind of instinct stuff. There's been this mystery behind that within the lore of the science fiction world of the books and Halo. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with that. But yeah, these are bad Forerunners. They're what you encounter in this demo. They are AIs, and they're bad AIs. They
Yeah.
save you. They save you from an elite getting a sword right through the middle of you. But apparently, there's some elites and some grunts that aren't good guys, and they're not. They look like they're allied with each other, and they don't look like they're part of the elites or the Covenant that you've previously faced.
Yeah.
So who knows how that's going to work in? That's kind of mysterious, and I'm glad they're keeping it that way so that it's not a disappointment now. I'd just rather
It's just
be
so great to
disappointed
fight the
later.
grunts.
I don't know.
It's just,
It
I'm
is.
just so happy. It makes me happy. But I really like the enemies that they
Die,
introduced. The enemies that they introduced with the Forerunners, where they have the little guys running around. They have and the big
Yeah.
warriors with the shield support characters. They've done a great job adding new enemies that you have to think about. Okay, who do I need to take out first? Do I really need to take out the damage dealer, or do I need to take out the guy that's shielding him?
Yeah.
And it gives they're just they've tweaked it enough that it's really interesting to me, but it's still Halo and it looks so cool. And
Yeah.
I love how the Forerunner tech just kind of pieces together when they use the weapons.
Yeah,
and things.
I was just about to say that had me geeking out because I looked at that and it's called the Scatter Blaster, I guess. and it just like it's like Optimus Prime, you know, and I just thought that
Transformer
was
guns.
yeah, I was like, yeah, that's so cool, laser, it floats together, sweet, like, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that when they disintegrate, they like turn into these little hot molten leaves of metal and flake away and just
That
like
is
sand.
cool.
That's kind of cool, man. It's not a new way to die, but it's a way to die that's fitting for robots, because if they're made out of a certain weird sci-fi metal that who knows, you know,
Yep.
I don't know. That just,
It
I thought
works.
that was awesome. It works for me.
So
It
of the
had me
things-
hooked from the get-go.
Yeah.
I
Other
love the
things-
new heads-up display. Sorry to
That
cut
looks
you off.
cool. I like how the little
Yeah.
videos come up.
Yeah,
I-
Cortana is
The new
oh, she's the new Navi. She's up here, and yeah, you've got your stuff. It's cool.
She was so. This is so much useless information. Don't talk. You're an AI. They have a rapport together.
Yeah.
They know. Don't talk
Yeah,
to
but-
me. Don't give me useless information, particularly as a gamer. This
Here's-
is me. Don't talk to me if you're not actually doing something for me.
Yes, but here's the thing. That I understand your opinion about Navi, but she's not as bad. It's not, hey, listen, hey, listen. It's not that. Yeah, exactly. It's none of that for me. For me, what it was in the trailer, yeah, it was a little annoying. I can understand how she bothers you. I'm not too partial to annoying feminine voices either. Annoying men voices worse. Annoying voices, period. Regardless, okay? So it adds to the emotion because they're trying to build the character. Listen, before
You're
I
right.
know your
was,
face.
I was gonna say
Hold
you're
on.
right, but I'll let you finish.
But sorry to be rude. No, but it adds to the emotion. She's like, "Hey, watch out!" It gives me a little bit of a sense that their relationship is real and that they're talking, and it's kind of neat because he's talking to somebody in his head that's not his personality. So he does have schizophrenia, apparently. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know. The jingling
They're
and hey,
trying
listen is a
to-
lot worse than Cortana. Just saying. I
Okay.
disagree with you on that point.
Okay. But I was going to agree with you because they are trying to show her dealing with the fact that she's too old for an AI and she's going to go crazy, and so that makes a little bit of sense, you know, saying.
I think Master Chief's going to end up making her sane, just by their interaction. They're
he's
only supposed to
Master
last
Chief.
7 years. No, but I mean, she's connected with him. We've never known of any other AI who's interfacing with a human being. He's plugged into his suit. She's plugged into his brain. She knows the structure of his body, the structure of his suit. I mean, if she remember the first time she was plugged in Halo 1, she goes, "Wow, this is not unlike the structure of the Pillar of Autumn." It's a very similar platform if you read any of the books. The way that they've made all the nerve connections in the suit to be able to, the Mjolnir armor to be able to handle. Anyway, so not to get too nerdy on that, but
I just think there's going to be a
this
digital
is-
makeout scene between them, and that's
Yeah.
how he'll make her sane.
that's going to be awesome. I think all of the geeks are fantasizing about that.
They're about
Those
to
of
show
you who
John's
don't,
face, Master Chief's face, and then Cortana's head goes in front, and they make out.
Ye-
So they still don't show his face.
I think they should make that as like a funny ending to the game. You know how in Avengers when they did, there was the ending with Thanos, and then there was the
Oh, yeah.
ending. Sorry
With
for
them
any
and the-
spoilers. And then there was an ending where they're eating shawarma. I think they should do that in video games
It's
from
not
now
like
on.
Shawarma
I think
is a
that'd be
spoiler in that.
yeah.
Really.
Well, it was just funny though.
It
So I
was.
think they should do. I think they should do a funny little ending like that where they just "Mwah," or something. Who knows? Or I love you, John. I love you. I love you, Marsha. It'll never work. I don't know, something like that.
John
Cortana.
Marsha.
John and Marsha. It's an old soap opera reference. Sorry,
Yes,
you might
yes,
not
I
have got
know.
it. Okay.
I got it, I
Okay.
got it.
So, okay, I got that one. So
But with
Yeah.
E3, there are things to be disappointed about on like a broad scale, like looking at all the weird things that Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft are doing. The big huge
PlayStation.
names and PlayStation, yeah. You know, all these things are kind of disappointed. There weren't as many games to be excited about, but what there
Yeah.
was to be excited about blew me away.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
just-
So
there wasn't maybe as much, but it was what I saw there was higher quality of the games. I'm still disappointed that E3 isn't as focused on the gamers as it needs to be, I think.